Is Marty from 1955 worthy of winning Best Picture, or should it have gone to something else? Find out today on Really Old Movies. Welcome to Really Old Movies. I'm your host, Harrison Scullin, and today I'll be discussing the Ernest Borgnine classic, Marty from 1955. Some essential movie details. This is the movie that made Ernest into a movie star, and he always said that this film is what kicked off his career. Many of you maybe don't recognize his name, but you'll know his voice. He voices Mermaid Man in SpongeBob. He was on the TV show McHale's Navy in the 60s. So he's a pretty famous actor and had a very long career, and he owes it all to this movie. Another essential movie detail, this is also the shortest movie to date that has won Best Picture at the Academy Awards. It's about 90 minutes long, so it's a pretty quick but really powerful storyline. So now let's get into the plot. So Marty, played by Ernest, he's a single man in his 30s who lives at home with his mom. He has friends who are also single, but they're pretty cynical about their romantic situations. One night, after much convincing from his mom, Marty decides to go to a dance with his friends to find someone, despite knowing he's been several times over the years and has come back with no date, nothing. This time, however, is different. He sees a girl whose name is Clara, and her date decides to leave her and go for another girl, which devastates Clara. And Marty sees her, and they decide to dance with each other for a bit. And then after a while, they decide to go out and get some coffee, where they talk in the shop for several hours. And it's about 1 a.m. or so, and they decide to walk around town, and they have a great time just talking and having fun with each other. And after he returns her home and all that, everyone tries to convince Marty he's making a mistake with her, even convincing him to miss the phone call he promised her the next day to call about a next date. And just sitting there in depression, kind of going back into his old habits, he realizes everyone around him is what's holding him back, not himself. So he decides to call her back and set things right with her, and that's where the movie ends. All right, so that's the plot to Marty. Now we'll get into my personal thoughts. So the plot, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a good plot. I like how it only takes place over a few days. It really brings a sense of realism and also time to the movie. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a pretty short movie, but it kind of feels like we're in real time following along with them. But the only reason why I give it a 4 instead of a 5 is I didn't like how the last time we see Clara, she's crying because he didn't call her back. I would have loved to have seen a quick clip of her, answering the phone as he's calling her, and, they say they're going to get married or whatever, and then it ends right there. Instead, it ends with Marty picking up the phone, calling her, so we don't know what the actual result is going to be. We can assume that he calls her back, they make up, and maybe that is a good thing, that it doesn't end the exact way we want it to. But I kind of wish it did, because it sets up the whole time Marty needs to find somebody, and he does, so we don't know if it's going to happen or not. In regards to acting, gave it a 5 out of 5. Thought everyone was really, really good, especially Ernest. He really did deserve that Best Actor award. And like I mentioned earlier, he was known for playing kind of heavy-set characters. He wasn't known as a leading man. So this movie really changed his career and people's opinion of him. So he definitely deserved it. In regards to directing, gave it a 5 out of 5. I like the style of this movie. It's very, like I mentioned, it's only over the course of maybe 1 or 2 days. So I like how everything feels like it's in real time. And I love the simple settings, and I think the director knew exactly what he was doing when he set up this movie. I really liked it. In regards to cinematography and special effects, I thought it was excellent. Loved the choice of black and white cinematography. I thought it was really, really good. And it fits because most of the movie takes place at night, so it's kind of dark and all of that. But I thought it was incredible. Loved seeing the moments of Ernest and Clara walking together, or Marty and Clara walking around together. Really liked that. So yeah, that's why I gave it 5 out of 5. In regards to music, wasn't a whole lot, but I thought it was great when it was there. I gave it a 5 out of 5. Really sets the mood. I thought it was great. Yeah, not much else. So that brings my Letterboxd score to a 4.8 out of 5, which I'm rounding to a 5 out of 5. So, would I recommend this movie? Yes, absolutely. I recommend it for both married and single couples alike. Married people because it reminds you of when you and your spouse were dating each other. And then also to single people to kind of give them hope that you'll find love, and it may not happen when you want it to, but it will happen. Yeah, I think this is a perfect movie for both. All right, those are my thoughts on Marty from 1955. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Make sure to subscribe to our Instagram and Facebook at Really Old Movies, where I discuss the details about the week's particular film. New podcast episodes are released Saturdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. All right, thank you so much. This has been Really Old Movies. I'm your host, Harrison Scullin. Take care.